6:05, we'll go ahead and call to order the January 21st meeting of the Weld RE-5J Board of Education to order. If you would take a moment to silence your cell phones and rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Devon, would you please call roll?
Here. Here.
Here. Here. We do need to approve the agenda for this evening. Go ahead.
We go 2 of 3.
Okay, you got it. You record. We don't need to modify the agenda, but I want to point out that we are not going to be having the executive session. Attorney is sick. So
dang it.
We would much rather somebody well to walk us through that. So we will reschedule that to another date. But so I'm not. I just want to make you guys aware because it is, since that is a standing item. But I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice President Sassano, a second by Director Proctor to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Do we have any citizen comments on agenda items?
Sorry, the table's on the other side of the room now. No.
Thank you. Now we can move on to staff and student celebrations and recognitions. Superintendent Nielsen.
Thanks, President Wales and board members. Just been a couple weeks since we were together last, I think, celebrating. And as we talked a little bit about that night, January is Board Appreciation Month. And so tonight, I would love just to take time from staff to say thank you to the 5 of you. We know you put in countless hours supporting the district, supporting what's going on, supporting staff members who are here, students supporting students in the building, but also students in other buildings and getting a chance to hear what's going on. Setting a target or setting a direction for the district. And I think it is an interesting time, right? When last time we were together, we had a chance to watch a video celebrating the last 5 years. Tonight, you have a chance to see the publication that should hit mailboxes in district in the next couple of days. All of it celebrating what we set out to do as a district 6 years ago. For some of you, you were sitting in your seats, and for some of you, you just had a chance to help move things forward. And as we prepare our students, the board is at the center of it, right? Is helping to guide, set a vision for us, and help us get there, and then ultimately celebrate as we're there. But I think the fascinating part, the publication, when you have a chance to look back on what was set as a goal by our board. And where we are today with what's going on in our classrooms and the work our teachers and our students are doing. I think it's an awesome reminder of the power, the opportunity that our board members have. So I think for me, representing our staff members tonight, we do want to say we really do appreciate the 5 of you and your willingness to spend every other Wednesday with us, but lots of time in between, in the community, representing the community, and helping to push this district forward as we continue to not just think about our last 5 years, but also start to make sure we 5 years from now can look back and say, we just had another great 5 years. So from us, thank you for the work you do. Thank you for the tireless hours and your willingness to volunteer in this community to make our district better.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's the hefty paycheck.
Just kidding.
I'm
There's
certain
no
that's
pay
true.
involved, just to clarify.
That's super true. Since we were together last time, we had a principal meeting and an AP meeting. They were both awesome, but one of the things I just want to highlight about our assistant principals, and we've talked about before, is as you continue to think about a district, right, you got leadership, but you also want to think about how are you building a bench? How are you continuing to position others to lead? And our assistant principal group right now is super dynamic. Spending time with that group, having a chance to get into classrooms and hear what they're seeing and some of the things they would love to take back and talk about in their buildings, the learning they're doing together, and then ultimately afterwards seeing some of the emails that are shared between them about how much appreciating the work they're doing. It's pretty neat. So I just wanted to highlight that to the board as we think about not just the leadership, right, the principal, but also that group that's helping support the principal. And as I've talked about with many of you, right, for me, assistant principals are principal training, and that's kind of the mindset, right, is we're training APs to be principals with us, or in a way that they go be principals somewhere else. So they take their skills and ultimately get to lead buildings. And they're excited, but we also have some people that are going to be dynamic leaders. So I wanted to highlight that. Had a chance with several of you to tour the library at MIS, and I'm super excited about the opportunities that brings, and starting to see that take shape is pretty exciting. Tonight we're going to see a short presentation from one of our robotics teams at the high school, and had a chance to spend some time at the tournament a week and a half ago. And once again, I think this is another fingerprint the board has in that I have robotics tournaments for probably 15, 18 years. And our location, when Noah and his teams host, it's the best arena for a robotics tournament that I've been to. And part of that is the stadium seating, but the other part is we're up on a stage. And so if you're doing a robotics tournament, I've been to others in stadium seating, but it's on a stage. So it sits up higher than what you're sitting. Where Noah and his team set up it's fantastic. The way the floor is, the way the score's up, and you get to see they just do a great job. So that was at Roosevelt a week and a half ago, and you had quite a few teams. I don't know how many you had there, but
42.
42 teams. That's pretty awesome. At the same time in that building, we had a health sciences competition. So we were able to host both those competitions well in that building, and they both went off without a hitch. So I think that's a testament to the flexibility that this district built in to the space we have. And then the last one I just want to share is it was a unique opportunity through the Rotary Club in town. There's an author, her name is Pat McVeigh. He wrote a book called Missing Pieces. And it turns out Pat is almost 100 years old. And her journey through, she has dyslexia. So her book, Missing Pieces, is a lot about trying to find all the pieces from her childhood that she has forgotten. Or doesn't have any memory of, or can't find a memory of. But then in her adult life, she worked in universities, doing a lot of kind of family support, student support. But her passion is, how do we help make sure students are being successful in schools? So she reached out through one of our Rotarians. Kate, Tammy, and I had a chance to go meet her, lunch with her, and have her grill us a little bit on some of our practices. So it was pretty neat to engage with Pat, and she was super impressed with some of the things we're doing around attendance and trying to stay on top of some of the interventions that we have. And we're hoping that she may have a chance to come over and visit a school or two with us, because she just brings that passion. But you can imagine somebody that's 100 years old, she has seen in her lifetime of being born in she was born in 1926. So she's been through a lot, but it was fascinating to spend some time with her. And, you know, you feel those opportunities that are rich and push at the same time, right? So she was great and supportive, but she was also asking good questions around, you know, what's going on in education today, about making sure you're identifying the students that are at risk, and what are you doing to support them, and how are you helping, thinking about families. And so it was interesting. It was conversations you step into, you don't know where it's going to go, and I think we left feeling like it was time well spent for us. And it was just a nice push, but also a nice, this is an author from Loveland that we had a chance to celebrate her as well. So that's probably a great place for me to stop this evening.
Okay, any questions on those or any other celebrations that we need to be aware of? All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and do our reports from board members. Annabelle, you want to start us off?
I'll just talk loud. I don't have to bother with the mic.
Or is your mic not working over there?
It might be. Sometimes, let's see. Is that any better? No, not really. Okay.
Do you want this one?
Yeah, I'll trade you. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Okay. Maybe? I think Mike's just, okay, there we go. I haven't been up to a whole lot. Leah and I and the rest of our District 1 officer team for FBLA are in the home stretch of planning that district leadership conference. So that'll be February 4th. So we're in like the final, 2 weeks. So that's been a lot of hard work, but lots going on there. I was at that prep event that Scott talked about. I'm one of our officers who helps run that club. So that was a lot of fun. We had local judges that were professionals or working in industries, and we had them kind of judge. So we're prepared for our state leadership conference that also comes next month. So everything kind of comes in February. I'm back in Ames Med Prep. I just started that back up yesterday. So that's been really exciting. I'll be doing nurse aid over there, and then a couple of career readiness courses, which is really exciting. And the last thing I've been doing, I obviously love cheering on the sidelines for swim and dive. I have friends that do it. My sister does it. So I helped with their senior night that they hosted at the YMCA this past week. And that was super awesome. We recognized the seniors, and they got to do realizing we had, I believe, 4 other schools. So ended up helping time for that, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes, as Annabelle said, we've been working really hard to prep for our district leadership conference 2 Wednesdays from now. We're planning on getting guest speakers out, making sure our sponsors and prizes are all in line. So it's been fun to meet with our speakers and get that all planned. We had a State Youth Council work-based learning subcommittee meeting. That was great to meet with some people from around the state, see what they're doing as workforce centers, as school districts to help get students aware of what workforce learning is, how employers can benefit from it, and how students can take advantage of it. Obviously, that was a great meeting to connect with all those people and share some of my ideas. And then we had a youth committee meeting for under the Weld County Workforce Board. Michael was there. We had a great meeting, plan out meeting, kind of see what it's going to look like. Have to reschedule a couple of things, but we should have a great meeting in late February?
So waiting on change that date or not?
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you guys are interested in that to come, we'll give you the date in a few weeks. Okay.
So last Thursday, I was part of the group that got the tour of the new military. And for me, what really stood out was how I felt so nostalgic being in certain rooms. Like, I knew where everything was. I knew where everything should be. But also seeing what they were, like, hearing what they were planning to do with it, all the cool spaces that they have planned, and how, like, everything feels really opened up. Like, it felt to me like they opened it up for more opportunity. And that is a great thing, I think, that we brought into this district with this bond, is we've opened ourselves up for new opportunities, whether that be in our schools or we're benefiting the community this way. And so I'm so grateful for that. I had a lovely couple of conversations with the library board, so I'm really excited for the time to get on that. And then the other thing is I've just been in contact with a couple school districts about student representatives, and I hope I can help a few of them able to create this opportunity for their students. I think it's been really impactful for all three of us and the community as well. So that's all I have.
Let's see if this is working. So I was so bummed because I got quite ill and I missed the library tour. I was looking so forward to that. So, and I know it's not directly related to school district, but we're connected to a school district. Well, it is in a school district building, and we share a wall with Milliken Intermediate School. And I love that we have created such a vibrant space, or we're working on creating a very vibrant space on the north side of the building. That's a good way to put it, right, Jenna? And it's going to be great, but I love what they've done over on the south side, and that's just really exciting. I wasn't at the last meeting, so I didn't get a chance to just praise our student board members, but that was probably what I wanted most to say in my report, is having the opportunity to be at CASB with our student board members was such a treat. And they really took center stage and were able to showcase the work they're doing as student representatives, the voices that they have, and it was a training session. They weren't up there lecturing or bragging on themselves. I would say that was one session that I attended that we had to cut it off because people kept asking questions and really wanted to know more about it. So I'm glad that they're reaching out to you and still gaining information. So it was just really, really lovely to see our student board members shine, because I will readily admit, I was like, no student is gonna wanna be on the student board. I was so skeptical when this idea was presented to us a few years ago. I'm so happy that I was dead wrong on that assessment. What a light and vitality you have brought, and so I'm thankful for that. And that's all I have today.
All right. So the library tour is fantastic. I do appreciate the library. It's my first interaction with some of those library boarders, and that's really exciting. I am amazed at the longevity of the people on that board. I think that's an incredible service to the community to provide the longevity and continuity while still being overly relevant. The library is fantastic in the community. And their just ability to serve and be part of people's future at the library, make it relevant, is fantastic. Went to some basketball. I think the band did incredible at the basketball game. They are just phenomenal. I wish the students was a little bit more. I know there's like 1,000 things to do at Roosevelt. And so I know it's hard to get them into the games and to doing student cheers, but the band really did carry it. They did fantastic at the basketball games, really. I think that's, oh, I did help set up for a cheer competition. Again, it's incredible the amount of people that can fit into the Roosevelt space, and the amount of compliments you hear people when you're just walking around about how the space is set up and how it is. Yeah, and I was stuck in the field house waiting for someone to come with a card so I could get back into the main building. So we're like stuck in the field house. And it was interesting to hear other people around me also say that they wish that that space was enclosed so that they didn't have to card in and out between the house and the main building. And I'm like, but it might happen. So I think that inkling of thought is already out there in the community. So I think for the long-term planning committee to also be looking at that as an option, I think we're on the right track, because I think that people already wish that was a thing. So I think that's really awesome.
I don't have a ton, but like everyone else, I attended the library tour. It was amazing to see what they're doing. And if I'm being honest, I was a little nervous about the agreement with the library, a little skeptical of what they were going to be able to pull off in that space. I am no longer either nervous or skeptical. That is going to be an amazing space for that community, for our community. So it was really exciting to see, again, their board and how excited they are about that project, and the vision that Christy has with that space is really impressive. So I don't know when it'll be done, but it's going to be exciting to see come to fruition. The only other thing I wanted to say is thank you for this. This is great. I know we saw a digital copy. It's just not quite the same until you can hold it in your hands and see what it looks like. Some of the changes you guys made since the last one we saw is great. This is exactly what we need to be getting out to our community. So thank you for the hard work on that. That's it.
This is what you've been asking for quite some time. Yeah. I didn't get to go to the library tour either. I too was sick. I don't know if you all know this, but our flu shot was a total miss this year. So take your vitamin D and your zinc. We have all been sick. It's been awful. But I would love to see the library. It sounds fabulous. Maybe Monica and I can have a private tour. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't looked through this yet, but I'm glad we did it. We've been talking for quite a while. Looks amazing. Didn't go to Casby, had to work. Yeah, I really have no report. I've been following the middle school girls wrestling. I don't know if any of you guys have gone. They have some volunteer opportunities. I can't go on Saturday because we're going skiing, but I'm hoping to catch the next one. They've had some ups and downs, but I mean, they're doing fabulous. So shout out to them. I'm loving watching the girls wrestle. So. I mean, I love wrestling anyway. Love the boys wrestling too, but I'm really proud of the new stuff we have going on with the girls. So that's it. Short and sweet.
I always think I don't have a lot, and then you guys start talking about, like, oh, yeah, I haven't said that, I haven't said that, I haven't said that. I'll just add what everybody's been talking about with the library. If you don't be overwhelmed, or don't set your expectation too high, because now it's just, it is really rough and raw.
Yeah.
The great part about it, though, is the energy that's around it. And you can just, you can already see it. And I think that's one of the things that, if anything I've learned through our bond project is, like, it's so cool to see people dream and then know that those things can actually become reality. And so just listening to the director at the library talk about, all the stuff she has going on in her mind and what she's been sharing with the board and what the board has been, it's a positive energy. And in fact, I pulled one of the board members aside and I just said, it's amazing what a difference leadership can make on a project like this, because I know some situations that leadership can really kind of stifle that energy, and that is not the case that's happening. And that's from the board and the executive director, and obviously the staff, except for the one who doesn't make it come to the events.
It was a bad flu shot.
So by the way, if I look like, because I'm about sweating really bad here, I got the shingles booster yesterday,
Oh.
and it's killing me today.
Oh,
So
darn it.
I might look like I'm contagious, but I'm not.
Well, that one should work. I mean, the last 4 years.
Well, let's hope. I'm paying for it. I did have a BOCES meeting last week. It was nice. It was nice to see everybody. We have a lot of new faces because of the election. I do have to tell this funny story because it's just one of those funny stories that you can't not tell. There's a woman out of Grover, Colorado, who's been a good friend of mine. We've served on a lot of boards and commissions in the county together. And we just done on the High Plains Library District together. December was her last meeting. And I said, as we were going around the room saying goodbye to her, when it came to me, I says, I'm not going to miss you, Joyce. I said, because I'll probably see you at a meeting next week sometime. I showed up at BOCES last week, and I was one of the first people there, and our board secretary was saying, yeah, we've got a lot of new faces. And she said, from this district we have so-and-so, this district we have, and from Pawnee we have Joyce Schmuck. And I said, wait, what? I said, because Joyce didn't tell me she was running for the Board of Education. And so in the middle of December, after the election, the person who ran and got elected resigned for some personal reasons, and so Joyce stepped up and she was appointed. And so Joyce and I are on another board.
That's so funny.
It's kind of funny. But yeah, everything seems to be going really good there. They do have an issue with the sewage system, and I tell you that because as members of BOCES, we're actually part owners of that building. So they've had some sewer backups, so we might get and ask to help pay for some sewage over there. Last Friday, we had our kickoff for CASB's Legislative Review Committee. Not a whole lot there, just because they were still, at that time, they were trying to figure out what bills are coming in, what bills are getting killed, what bills. So in 2 weeks, we'll have another meeting, we'll have a better idea of what the legislative picture looks like. I yesterday had a President's Cafe, nothing too exciting there. But Liam brought up a good point. So we did have a planning meeting for Weld County's Workforce Development Youth Committee yesterday morning, and we have a really good problem. So we wanted to do an AI in the Workplace 2.0. Our first version was a success. I mean, so many people came, so many people asked questions. It was, again, one of those deals where we had like, hey, time's up, we got to kind of move on. So we decided to do a 2.0. The guy from the Workforce Center, Greg Cordova, was able to find 2 guys here in the state of Colorado who were actually going to give a presentation to the National Workforce Board about AI in the workplace. And he got them to speak to our group. Unfortunately, the day in Washington is the same exact time and day that our meeting is. So we're trying to push that meeting out a week or two, but we do want to invite a lot of people to come to that, because it's really interesting. If not, we're going to push it off in the fall. But so our next issue, though, is, well, what are we going to do for our upcoming meeting? And so we did a little bit about kind of doing a similar thing with what we did at CASB, where we will do a kind of employer-employee roundtable. So we're looking at some employers that we can bring in. We're looking at some students. Liam's going to work to try to invite a lot of students from Roosevelt. We've got one of our other members is from District 6, so he's going to reach out to some District 6 to try to get them all together, so we can actually really have some conversations about, what's important for a student to have going into a job search. I mean, does a resume even matter? I mean, we put a lot of focus on resumes, but a lot of times resumes, it's not really the resume, it's what you know. Sometimes it's who you know, and I mean, we openly admitted that. Sometimes it's who you know. And so we're kind of looking forward to how this one might play out, because it's a real game changer as far as how we're communicating. I mentioned that when we did the thing at CASB, I had an epiphany while we were starting that session, because it was all about student voice. And I said, I was saying to myself, it's weird that I'm going to talk about how we're defining student voice, and I'm not a student. So I can't even begin to define student voice. So our students need to define that student voice. Same thing on this other thing with the workforce, with the employees and the job seekers. Let's get them talking about what it is that they need each other. Instead of telling them this is what you need to have, because a lot of that stuff might not even matter to them. So that's a program that it's kind of our plan B, but plan B is starting to look really awesome. So we might have 2 really good meetings coming up, and so we'll keep you guys up to speed with that. We were going to talk to Jennifer Borenson and ask her if she would come and maybe help facilitate some of that. So I think that is all I have. All right. Anything else?
Hayden's got her hand.
One thing.
Go ahead.
Speaking of student voice, 6 days ago was the anniversary of when Bill and I were sworn into this position. And I don't bring that up just because I want to toot my own horn, or because I want
You play clarinet, though, don't you? You play clarinet, right? Oh.
Piccolo or something.
She does. I don't.
But you don't play a horn, so you can't really toot your own horn, right?
Exactly.
So, pretty cool.
But I bring that up because on top of that, it was, that was when we got these gifts last year. And I was thinking about that earlier today, and so I thought I would take this time to show my appreciation to the board, since it's School Board Appreciation Month. And I'm so grateful for this position. It's changed my life and probably the trajectory of where I'm going. Words cannot express my gratitude for that. And so thank you guys for your humility, for your confidence, your support with this. This is truly an amazing thing, and the fact that we've had 1 year of this is new to me, because I feel like I'm still new to this. But I'm so grateful that Annabelle and I get to be the first do this in our district, and I'm also very grateful that we have kind of gotten to mold this vision for the better, and I'm excited to see what Liam does with a form, and those beyond. So again, thank you guys. We would not be here right now if it wasn't for what happened a year ago. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. This is it's been a fun experiment, and I think we're all still trying to figure it out. But yeah, you guys have, all three of you have been unbelievable. Exceeded my expectations. So much so that I kind of worry, like, oh God, what do we do? Like, we've got the perfect beasts over there. We're holding them back. So thank you guys. Scott, why don't we go to superintendent's report?
President Wales and board members, I think I will leave my superintendent's report just by saying student voice matters, and we just had a chance to hear it. And so thank you for the leadership that this board created. I think what you see in our district right now, and some of it started here, is student voice being represented in different ways now in the district than it may have been prior to having board members sit here. And so that's powerful. And again, I'll just leave it with student voice matters. Thanks for sharing yours.
All right, well, let's move on to our consent agenda. Our adopted rules of parliamentary procedure provide for a consent agenda listing several items for approval read by a single motion. Most of the items under the consent agenda have gone through board review and recommendation. Documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members and public in advance to assure a thorough and extensive review. Any item could be removed from the consent agenda through any board member. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
Move to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice President Sassano, a second by Director Johnson to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion motion?
Well, I just want to say that we talked a lot about student voice, but student opportunities are just as important. And this consent agenda is full of students that we're hiring to do different jobs throughout the district.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. That was it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty. We'll drop down into our special business. Our first item of special business is the POMS financial request for the Nationals trip. And I believe, Ms. Kramer, you're going to be leading that?
Yes. Good evening. Sorry. President Wales, members of the board, and Superintendent Nielsen. Our dance coach couldn't be here this evening because of what you were all just talking about earlier with lots of illnesses going around, so she was unable to be tonight. So the dance trip is for nationals that you have already approved. This is the financial part of it. It is from January 27th to February 2nd, so it's coming up right around the corner. They're going to Orlando. The total cost of the trip is $25,323. They're taking 13 students. And the ask from the board is $3,247 to pay for the 2 chaperones for their travel and other expenses. I can answer any questions.
I just have one question, Tammy, and you may not have the answer, so that's okay.
That's why I just said maybe.
I'm looking through their spreadsheet here, and there's a line in here for fundraising activity. That line, it's nothing in it. And I know they do a ton of fundraising, just because of exposure I've had to that in the past. Is that amount in this $22,000 that they're saying is student club funds, or?
I believe so,
Okay.
yes.
Could we I have
I
no
can find
problem.
out for sure.
I would appreciate that. I have no problem approving it tonight if that's where we want to go. I'm curious where those funds have lived.
Yeah, we can definitely find out.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
We approve the Palms financial request for national strip in the amount of $3,260 in chaperones.
Second.
We got a motion by Director Proctor, a second by, motion by Director Musgrave, a second by Director Proctor to approve financial request from the RHS Palms team. Any further on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Diagana.
Monica Johnson,
Yes.
Amanda Proctor,
Yes.
Pete Pisano,
Yes.
Amy Musgrave,
Yes.
Michael Whale.
Yes. Our next item is the robotics out-of-state trip request.
All right, President Wales, board members, we have a request to approve an out-of-state trip for one of our robotics. With us tonight, we have Coach Walsh and a couple of our hammerheads. They have asked, there's no ask other than to approve the trip, but also an opportunity to talk with us a little bit about what it looks like and an opportunity that is new for us or we haven't had in a long time. So with that, Coach Walsh, I'll turn it over to you for hammerheads.
Thank you guys so much for hearing from tonight, having us here. I know we said we are now locally covering the financial cost between our fundraising efforts and our local admin team, but I do want to thank you guys for even considering that and for having us here to speak about what we are trying to do. So I have two members of Team 9019 Hammerheads with me now. Unfortunately, the other three members were either at a swim meet or currently ill, like everybody else at this time of the year. But I'm going to let them talk a little bit about the event, this year's game. They do have part of their robot show off, but as engineers are always improving and redesigning and making things better, the robot's in a few pieces right now. So we're working on that. But you guys want to game?
Yeah, so every year, the company Vex comes out with a different game, and so it's like a fun little mystery box of what game we're gonna get. And this year, it's called Pushback. And so there's a bunch of these cubes amongst the field, and our goal is to score in goals that are like a foot off the ground. And in simple terms, whoever gets the most blocks scored usually wins. There's some other elements, but just to keep it short and simple, that's basically it. So in the competition, there are two robots that are an alliance, that's what we call them, and they work together and they go against two other robots. So it's a 2v2 match, and to just score these blocks. So the...
No.
You're good there? Yeah, sure.
Unless you want to say more.
Okay, so we were invited to the US Create Open Tournament, and so what is it? This is a nationwide and actually includes a few international teams as well, where you must be invited to compete. And where/when it is, it will be in Council Bluffs, Iowa from March 16th through 18th, and a brief schedule on the scenes will be like the skills, the single player where a robot tries to score as it can individually. On the 17th will be the qualifiers, basically robots randomly being paired with each other and compete against other teams to try and place high in ranking. And then on the 18th, qualifiers being continued, and the finals, the best teams going against each other to basically declare one winner.
So this team was invited to the event due to winning the design award at a tournament we had back in late November. In my experience, this is the first team since I've started at Roosevelt 4.5 years ago that has this design award. The award is incredibly impressive because it is not based on just making a good robot or driving well at a competition, knowing how to program well. It's based on being able to represent that engineering design process clearly, accurately, and in a way that some replicate just by going through your engineering notebook. What makes this award and the recognition for the notebook and this team really impressive for me is that is the one aspect of this competition they can do all by themselves. It's the one thing they can leave my classroom, leave their robot, and they can go home and spend the extra time they have working on it. I can tell you I've never seen a team that has put as much time into their documentation as this team. Typically, notebooks are around 100 pages. Theirs right now is currently sitting at 250 because they document every detail, every little ounce of their planning. Every decision has a decision matrix backup, research, tests, data, all of that to inform what they're doing. Not only that, as you can see, with our current fraction of a robot, the big part of getting that design award is showing iteration and showing true engineering. Not just, you built something, it worked great, left it at that. This team has rebuilt their robot from the ground up 4 times this season. This year alone, they've built 4 separate robots, constantly improving to meet the demands of this change, all documented in this notebook, which is what they got recognition for and what earned them their invitation to this competition. Just on a personal note for this team, while their notebook is great and their overall performance at competitions is great, this team goes above and beyond in every way. I've received awards in the past for just having great spirit at our competitions, helping out when they can. I can tell you factually, at every competition we go to, when they to start breaking down the fields to pack up for the day, without even asking, this team is out there. They are helping, they're doing whatever they can to bring us down. Not only that, they're just the best people towards each other. They give each other awards every minute. They make little, whatever sign awards you guys give to each other, and it's that one, engineering skill and drive and all of that, but 2, it's their personalities and their ability to empathize for others, work together as a team. Makes me really proud to be here presenting them to you guys and presenting this opportunity that they've earned for themselves. So yeah, that's really most of what we have. The trip is going to be a typical tournament for us, but extended over 3 days. So it'll be a really great experience for these guys to talk to other teams. Like we said, there's going to be teams from, there's a few from Australia. I guess if they competed in the U.S. territory, they were able to get into this event. So it'll just be an amazing opportunity to network, see how other teams approach these challenges, and just go into the senior year and be the best that they can be. So thank you guys, and yeah, we appreciate you having us here tonight. The rest of you. There are a bunch of goofballs. And the robot, a few more pieces.
Hold on, we might have some questions for you guys. Do we have questions?
I have a question, but
You go
no,
first. Are
ladies
you sure?
first.
Okay. So this one's for Paige and Julian. I know you guys like eat, sleep, and breathe robotics. I've been around you guys, and it's like really incredible. But what would you say is the most rewarding part about robotics for you? Like, is there a moment that kind of stands out each time?
Honestly, like, no, all of it is just so great. But if I had to pick one, it would just be like our daily practices, like interacting with each other, like just normal every typical day. It's really fun. It's really great. It's also nice to like interact with your teams and so like other members that are in robotics that aren't just with our group. But yeah, that's probably the best part, is just like day-to-day working on the robot.
I think the best part for me is when we finally get to the competition. Some competition weeks, like, we're after school every day for several hours, just like really jamming the work in to get a high quality product done for the competitions. And when we finally get there and we're finally done for the week or done for the season, it's just satisfying to me that we can finally just be done.
So my question was, number one, fun, hopefully a fun question is, I would love to hear your story behind your name, Hammerheads.
And 9019.
And 9019. And my second question, more, I guess, more personal is, do you think with your exposure and your success in the robotics club that you'd like to incorporate engineering into your future plans?
So starting with the first one, the 9019H, or like the 9019 part, like the number, we didn't choose that. We just kind of showed up and that was our number.
It's our designation. All of our teams start with 9019 and then they get a letter.
Yeah, and so, what was the reason behind
I think we chose the letter H, and we just wanted to figure out like a good name that the game began with H.
Yeah.
Kind of, construction engineering themed.
And then for the engineering, unfortunately, neither of us are planning on doing anything engineering after school.
What are you planning on doing?
So we have two of our team members that aren't here are planning on doing engineering. So that is possible and definitely going to happen. They're just not actually here. Yeah.
What are you planning on studying?
I want to do pre-law, so probably business for that, and then go into the law track.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You, not the teacher.
I'm planning to go to CSU for music education.
So, both following.
Do you play a horn?
Passions.
Yeah.
See, he can toot his horn. There you go.
How big is the robot? Is this just a piece of it, or
Oh.
is that the whole?
So that was the whole of it, before we took it apart. Now it's all in my car. But so the competition has an 18 by 18, so 18 inches by 18 inches like limit, so you can't exceed that. So usually it gets pretty close to that. I think this robot the base was like 16 inches by 16, and then the height was pretty close to 18 inches. So.
Yeah, but one of our criteria for a robot in general is it has to fit in an 18-inch by 18-inch square.
Okay. And I do like, I mean, I can tell you're dedicated just because you're going to Council Bluffs and not Orlando.
Right.
That tells us all we need to know.
So what's your design process? So you get your assignment, Paige was talking about you kind of pick what the game is, and then do you have any idea before then what type of robot you're going to build, or what's your creative process to decide this is what we need to design?
We usually do research and look at past games because although each year's game is completely different, we can reuse effects or systems from different games. Like there was usually, on our previous system, we had rubber band rollers to help manipulate the game objects, and those existed in past games. So we have a vague idea of what systems we might use, but not like a general plan for exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, but it really depends on when the competition is actually released. Before we don't really have requirements and what we're allowed to do or any specific details. The objective of the game is different every year, and so we wouldn't want to plan for more of those blocks when it's going to be rings or whatever for a water game.
So the game gets released every late April, early May at the World competition. After the finals, they throw the trailer for the new game up on the big screen. So at that point, typically at Roosevelt, we will have an after-school day where we'll watch through that video probably about 30 times until the kids can quote it from memory, and then the teams break up and they just start throwing ideas at a wall, hoping they find something that will work. And that's when they start, again, filling out that engineering notebook, documenting any ideas they have, any sketches, any of that. So each team's process is a little bit different. I know you guys like to, hang out with each other a lot. This team will meet up after school a lot over the summer and just plan, draw things out. That way, once we have a little bit of time over the summer and getting into the school year to really start building, they're ready to hit the ground running with their ideas. I do want to also say that the ideas and what these teams build is completely on them. As a coach, I can give constructive feedback. I can ask questions to lead them to things. I cannot give them ideas. I cannot give them ways to solve problems. It is all on them. I'm just there to support. Most times I give them feedback. It's followed by my famous line.
Not my robot.
It's not my robot. Because I try to drive that. Everything they do is theirs. Their ideas, their participation at competitions, their code are running. I am an advisor. I'm a backup mentor. everything, all the achievements, all the accomplishments that come out of these teams is on their work. So their ideas, everything from the ground up is student driven.
What grade are you guys in right now? Are you?
We're both juniors. Our team is entirely juniors.
Okay, and there's 5 of you on the team? Okay. So I was gonna ask, I'm glad Amy brought up the Council Bluffs thing. I mean, what's the deal with Council Bluffs in March? I mean, like, hey, Australia, come to see the greatest state in the union. There's nothing associated with the corporation?
No, that's just where it is. That's just where it is.
Just at the university.
I mean, I believe it's been in Council Bluffs for the last few years, just being Central America, easy for most teams to get to from anywhere in the States. There are other larger competition invitationals like this. This is just the one that we were invited to. There are several others. Do you guys know where none of them are in fun locations. Even if you make it to the world competition, it's in Dallas, Texas. So
in August, probably like.
No, that one's in April. So
okay, well, Dallas would be so bad.
But not terrible.
So what's on the line with this one? Is this a step to another competition or?
It is not. At this point, we are still competing at the local level to qualify for the state competition, and if we qualify for the state competition, we will qualify for the world competition. There are 1 or 2 spots at this event that would possibly qualify us for worlds, but those spots are essentially winning the entire tournament out of 160 teams. It would be a challenge. I believe in my students and know that we're capable of it, but there's as many spots as typical tournaments.
Somebody's got to win it, right?
Yeah.
Might as well be you guys.
Might as well be us. Yeah.
What do you guys do for fundraising for the club in general, and then what's the fundraising mechanism to pay, since you're not asking for money, to get to Iowa?
So we have a big fundraiser over the summer. It's like a robotics camp, and so we invite middle schoolers and younger middle schoolers to join this club, and then using Vex IQ, which is like we use like metal and screws. This is like plastic pieces, so it's a little simpler for them, just because we only have a week. And so we will be volunteers for that. We'll help out. We'll be the mentors for the middle schoolers, and they will build their own robot and compete in a game that we designed. And it's just like a little mini crash course as to like what we do, but a little simpler and a little quicker.
Nice, thank you.
That's such a great idea for a fundraiser.
It's great. It gives us a chance to meet with the middle schoolers, start to gauge interest in robotics. I know about half of our freshmen on the team this year were former campers. So it's really good publicity and just getting kids more interested in robotics at an earlier age.
So is that the platform they're using at MIS in the Smart Lab, is the VEX system?
Yes, I believe they're using the EDR, which is like in between the IQ and the V5, which is what we use.
I mean, the gravity of all this is still like, it's still kind of novel, but it's going to be weird, like, 10 years from now to like actually talk about this, because we talked about this a lot, this alignment between high school to middle school to elementary school, and how we're teaching things all the way through. It blows my mind that we're talking about robots, because there's still, for me, it's like, it's still a novelty, because I dreamed of this. Like, I hated school, but I loved robots, and so it's like the coolest thing to me. But I mean, as Annabelle asked, about pursuing careers in engineering. So are you spending some time working back down to at least MIS and the middle school STEM, how they're using some of these platforms to kind of develop these programs?
Specifically with middle school, yeah. Ms. Salvatore and I have talked a lot, developed some lessons, talked about overall goals, where the students should be, what they should be doing before they get to the high school level. And I definitely feel like, especially with the newer students coming in, they're more prepared than ever. They're ready. Yeah. They're ready to go. That's awesome. Interested. They're already telling what your ratio is, and that's the type of stuff that not only makes things easier at the high school for me, but allows us to go further. Because if they're starting at a higher level, we're able to take them to a higher level in those 4 years.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to equate it to, well, we can equate it to anything. I mean, it's all the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, but even in sports, we try to align football. all the way down to the little guys, so that they're running similar plays, so that once they get to that higher level, everybody's still kind of working on the same page. So this is really exciting, guys, and
I did have one more note. We are doing other fundraising as well. We are signed up to do more concessions this year. Our biggest fundraiser for the program, because the robots are expensive, each one estimated costs at least $2,000 to put together every year. Our biggest fundraiser is our tournaments. We started, when I began working here, we ran one a year. We are now up to 2 a year, and next year we're looking at doing 2 tournaments as well as hosting the state tournament for Vex Robotics at Roosevelt, which would be twice the fundraiser a normal tournament would be. So we have plans long-term to continually bring in more money to support opportunities like this in the future.
That's awesome. No, and that, you know what? I mean, this book that we've been talking about in this video, that was one of the things we always talked about with constructing that new high school, was having the space where we could do things like this, where we could bring students in from other districts, and Roosevelt could be like that piece, that shining piece, that example of what you can do with a facility. And so, man, that's awesome, because you're living right into that dream. So,
Michael, Miss Hayden.
oh, sorry, Hayden.
Okay. I was kind of curious. And I know you both said you want to pursue engineering as a career, but how has this robotics team and your robot team impacted your life? Like, how has it benefited you and you think for your future in the long run?
I think it just helped build skills of like teamwork. We've learned to work together, and yes, we've argued a few times, but we've grown as a team, and I think it's really been a beneficial experience just to work with like people I know, but maybe not so well, so we can start to build teamwork skills.
Yeah, to be a little cheesier than that, it's just given me like a family at school, like these people that I can hang out with, and I know like we just have something in interest, like common interests, so we always have something that we can bond over, and so it just like gave me like a little family for high school, like through robotics, especially like when I came in as a freshman, it just gave me that little like built-in friend, like family immediately when I didn't really have anyone else. So yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I was gonna make a comment, but
I was just also going to say, these guys won't say it, but they've grown as leaders by being a part of this program. Even the last 2 tournaments, last 2 weekends, especially at events, as I've said, I'm not allowed to be hands-on at all, and I try to be as far away from the robots accounting for the judges' sake. So it was amazing the last 2 weeks to see these guys and their teammates going out to support our freshman teams. We had a team 2 weeks ago that it was their first competition ever, and going over things like how to make sure their code is going to run correctly when they get to the field, that they're going to answer questions right for judges, what to expect in their interviews. So they may not see themselves as leaders, but I 100% have witnessed you guys grow into amazing leaders for our program. So that's another thing you guys have gotten out of it.
if you guys don't see yourself as leaders, I have not done my job as your drum major and your co-drum major. These people are amazing. I'm on a different team in another capacity. And these two, and I know 2 of the other members pretty well as well. And yeah, they're all leaders. They're all amazing people. They're extremely smart. They make me feel dumb sometimes when they talk about robotics and just anything else in general. So this is a really great team. This is probably the best we have of the robotics program, and also of probably the school, you could say, to represent Roosevelt at the national level. So
Yeah. Can a student letter in robotics?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Did you guys letter?
I hope so.
Last year, yes.
I mean, technically, but you never gave me my pins for it.
oh,
Stop by my office.
Any other questions for these guys?
Thank you again for having us and
Yeah.
hearing everything we have to say.
Well, thank you for coming out and answering our questions and showing us everything. We're really excited for you guys to, even though you have to go to Council Bluffs. I mean, it's cool.
Can we do our, we started in a tradition, shaking hands and we'll do
Yeah.
our picture.
We should vote first.
I'll do the motion.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to shake our hands after the So, hold on real quick. So, yeah, entertain a motion for approving the out-of-state trip request.
I would move to approve the robotics out-of-state trip.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vice President Sassano, a second by Director Johnson to approve the robotics out-of-state trip request. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Diagana.
Johnson,
Enthusiastic, yes.
Amanda Proctor,
Yes.
Nate Sano,
Yes.
Amy Musgrave. Yes. Michael Whitcomb.
I was super trying to remember how to do yes in binary because that's what I was going to show you. Yes. All right, let's do our walkthrough here.
I know, we're messy back here, it's all right.
That's failure.
There's a gap, fill the gap.
We're all at the wrong place.
Thank you.
You don't hug me.
Thank you.
Our
Oh, really?
robot is in Milo. It changes every year.
So
So freshman year, it was an M name. It was Marvin. And then we decided we had to keep the pattern, and so it has to be an M name, and then we alternate between boy and girl. And so last year it was Megan, and it was Megan Ladon, like the shark. And so this year Milo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm excited.
Thank you.
Interesting,
Thank you.
interesting handshake,
Thank
very
you.
professional.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, do we want to? I'm so sorry, guys.
Yes.
You don't want to leave your capacity there.
Yeah, go get your broken robot.
Yes, you're broken. You're broken robot.
They're my friends, I made them.
Look at this.
We want Milo in our picture.
No,
it has to be Amy. Amy, think of your front row girl.
Wait, are we good? Oh, this way. Amy, you sure you don't want to row?
there, now we can right there. I'm in the gap.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
And then
Every
you guys
picture
are free to make.
Where does Amy stand? Nobody can see her.
No,
I know. Hire me or we'll say no.
You're always
iPad?
I'll see you in the morning. See ya. 7:30 a.m. calculate for residents.
7:30.
Oh yeah. I don't. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any citizen comments on general topics? Okay. I was just gonna say, so on executive session, I think if you're logged into board docs, you guys should be able to access some of the material. Take an opportunity to just kind of familiarize yourself with some of that. Those are some questions that I had asked some folks at CASB about, and then we did have our legal team kind of look at some of that stuff, but just to kind of get a sense of what questions we might have when we actually sit down with our attorneys. So, otherwise, I'll go ahead and adjourn at 7:06. And then, so we have a little bit of an